Hey, welcome to Move to Combat. I'm James, and here are your hosts, Haley and Kenny.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's going on?
To start today off, we're gonna slow things down a little bit. We want you to get to know us as much as we want to get to know you guys, so we're gonna take a minute and talk about ourselves. It'll be boring probably, but just bear with us for a minute. I'm Haley. I've been playing Magic for about 3 years now. Some things that are of particular note. Planeswalkers are my thing. I love Planeswalkers, like, borderline obsessively.
It's a little absurd.
It's not absurd, Kenny. I don't have a problem. I can stop whenever I want.
It's a little absurd.
I'm only missing 10 Planeswalkers out of every artwork of every Planeswalker ever made.
Technically 47.
No, we're not going there yet. It's not released yet. It doesn't count. And one thing in gameplay I'm most known for is drawing all of the lands, or none of the lands, so I really haven't been playing Magic this entirety of the 3 years that I've been playing.
So I've been playing Magic a little longer than Haley. I've been playing the game consistently for 9 years. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
I started in New Phyrexia. I started playing lots of aggro, specifically like Naya Blitz, which was my baby when I first started, and then I kind of generally moved into like tempo gameplay. So blue is probably my favorite color because it does lots of
best color.
Does lots of fun things.
Yes.
Drawing cards is good. Bouncing your stuff is fun. I just like saying no while hitting you in the face with things because I'm not patient enough for control.
That's fair. I don't think anyone's actually patient enough for control. Get out of here, James. Nobody asked for your opinion.
James is, but
that's, James. So now that awkward little piece of whatever that was.
Should I give an intro too?
Is that out of the way?
Yeah,
sure. Go ahead. James, intro yourself,
I'm
please.
James. I have been playing Magic on and off and on for 2 years now, but I played since way back in 4th edition. I love Esper and Grixis control. I'm one of those guys. I'm allergic to green. I can't stand green.
Simic's my baby. Simic is my baby.
And I just want to remind everybody listening that if you have any comments during the show, feel free to post them on the page. I'll be reading some of the comments on during our broadcast.
We love to hear from you guys. So yeah, chime in whenever you feel like it.
Exactly. So back to the show.
All right. So today we're going to be talking about some more War of the Spark. Spoilers. Sorry, Kenny, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no problem. Some spoilers, and then the storyline, up to Ravnica, because Wizards of the Coast kind of did Ravnica differently than they did the other sets before that, lore-wise.
Yeah, we're going to be going a little bit more into depth from, Kaladesh to right before Ravnica started. And we'll touch on Ravnica a little bit.
Yep.
But just because they did the stories much differently, so it's a little awkward to talk about them because most of what we know about it is from the flavor text of the cards and what they randomly said in passing.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and get started with some of the cards. James, when you're ready, we're going to be looking at the Finale of Revelation first.
Finale of Revelation.
This card's really cool.
Yeah. Finale of Revelation.
So this is a sorcery. It's X and 2 blue mana, so you're going to draw X cards, and if X is 10 or more, instead you would shuffle your graveyard into your library and then draw X cards, untap up to 5 lands, and you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Then you would exile Finale of Revelation. So what do you think about it, Kenny?
It's a commander card.
For sure.
It's just anything that says X in it. Anything that says X in it is usually fantastic in Commander, but I think it might find some home in Control decks. Maybe.
It definitely has potential too.
Yeah. It's a lot. That's 12 mana to get to shuffling your library.
It's really not 12 mana though, if you think about it, because you get to untap 5 mana. So I understand that it's still costly, but it's really only what is 7 mana?
But you need the 12 to do it in the first place.
Control decks have 12 mana. I always have 12 mana.
Well,
it's not a problem.
You always have 12 mana with 20 lands in your deck, but that's not
statistically impossible, and yet I do it frequently.
I think this will see a lot of this will see all the commander play because it just shuffles your yard back into your hand or into your library, but it gives you no max hand size. It's kind of like a Praetor's Council with less value, but you draw more cards. So
I was gonna say I just really like it because, especially in Commander, it gives you a way to kind of filter out like mill decks.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Unless
you've always got unless it gets milled. But I mean, you should in my humble opinion, you should have at least like 2 to 3 ways in your deck to keep you from being milled out.
Yeah.
That's why I play like Ulamog in almost all of my decks.
The way I see it in like standard constructed is that the control deck, yeah, they can pay 12 mana into it and fire it, but it can still be countered, so you can just be like, cool, Spell Pierce.
That's fair.
Right?
Yeah,
and
no,
then they just burn 12 mana.
Well, sometimes you just do that. This is Magic we're talking about.
Sometimes you do need to do that.
All you need is a 2-drop that says negate, and you're done with your life.
Yeah, but that's a relevant statement because mono blue aggro is one of the most prevalent decks in the format.
Oh, for sure. For right now. You see some wish-wash, but yeah, no, that's completely correct. All it takes is one spell to ruin your whole day.
Yes.
So I think we should move on to God Eternal Kefnet now.
Oh, this makes my Jimmy heart sore. Or
your Jimmy.
My Johnny heart sore.
Your Johnny?
My Johnny heart. I can say the Johnny heart.
Who are you today, Kenny?
I'm a Timmy Johnny, so I'm not Jimmy.
I just want to say I'm glad to see the gods back because I loved the gods during that block.
Yeah, this is an interesting concept. Seeing them back as like the Eternals.
Yeah.
But yeah, so God Eternal Kefnet. It's a 4-drop, 2 colorless, 2 blue. It is a 4/5 legendary creature zombie god. It flies, and you can reveal the first card you draw each turn as you draw it. Whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card this way, you copy that card, and you may cast the copy, and the copy costs 2 less generic mana to cast. And when it dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it into its owner's library third from the top.
So the second part of the effect, all of the God Eternals have. They just go back on
the
top.
All of the God Eternals that we know of, because we're still missing
the three
that we have. So I think it's safe to assume that all 5
part
of
the
them
cycle,
have it.
yeah.
Or all 4 of them have it.
But the Kefnet's God Eternal Kefnet's ability is probably going to have like a wall of judge text once it actually sees play.
You usually do. Yeah. That makes my life miserable.
But it's really cool. So what happens is the ability goes on the stack. When you draw your card, you reveal it, right? And then if it's an instant or sorcery, it goes. The copy goes on the stack, and then it asks you to cast it, right? And then that costs 2 less. But then the spell goes to your hand, so you're effectively getting 2 spells for every 1 spell that you draw, which is really cool. So like top decking a Chemister's Insight, copying the Chemister's Insight for 2, then playing Chemister's Insight, then playing Chemister's Insight.
Yes. It took us a long time to get there, but yes.
So, well, I mean, yeah, but it's probably one of the more complex abilities out of the 3 gods that we have.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So
I think it's definitely going to see play.
Yeah.
In
on a
many
4,
capacities.
On a 4/5 flyer for 4, yes.
Oh yeah, 4/5 flyer. Just the 4/5 flyer alone, like for 4 mana, is value in itself.
Yeah.
So I definitely think we're going to see some play from this card.
I love everything about the card. I'll be honest. I love the artwork. I love the concept. I love the gods coming back. I love its effect. This is going in my cast deck for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And imagine this card in Commander.
That's exactly
I don't want to. I'm not there yet. Let's just keep it where it is for a second. So I think what is it? Silent Submersible?
Yeah.
Is next?
I wish this card was better.
Yeah, it's not bad though.
It's not.
It's not as good as the Looter Scooter.
Well,
Smuggler's Copter.
Well, if it was as good as the Looter Scooter, it would get banned like the first month it saw play.
That's fair. So what we're talking about is Silent Submersible. It is a 2 blue for a 2/3 vehicle with the ability Crew 2. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, you draw a card. So it's not as good as the Looter Scooter, Smuggler's Copter, but it does have potential. It's definitely not the worst.
So I compare this to Surge Mare.
Why would you compare it to Surge Mare?
It's double blue, right?
Sure.
and then whenever Surge Mare connects with anything, connects with the player, you draw a card.
Right.
Right? So, but Surge Mare can't be blocked by green creatures.
That's fair, yes.
I
mean,
I
get what you're saying.
At double blue mana cost, right?
Yeah.
So it's not the most splashable vehicle.
It's not a splashable vehicle, no, that's for sure.
We're not getting the most exciting vehicle for double blue.
Yeah.
I could see it having menace and being playable and being good.
Oh, you give anything menace and it's better. Please.
But
menace just makes things better naturally.
Or if
now
it was,
you need two
isn't
to
that
take care of
Menace's
it.
trademark?
Or-
Makes everything better.
Yeah. Or if it was crew 1.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
if it was
definitely.
crew
You know,
1,
crew
it
one
definitely
would be better.
yes.
But
I see your point.
I think the crew 2 will hold it back, and the lack of evasion will hold it back.
Yes. Yeah.
In basically anything but limited play.
Fair. I'm ready to talk about Spark Double though.
Yeah, that card's really
Spark
interesting.
Double, I think, is one of my favorite cards that's come out, and
Okay.
I say that like, sorry, favorite non-Planeswalker card that's come out.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is Clever Impersonator, Clever Imposter,
Yes. Clever Impersonator.
Clever Impersonator.
Yes.
This is that, but better.
Well, Clever
because-
Impersonator copies Planeswalkers as well.
Yes, okay, but Clever Imperson. This is
Doesn't
the same
put a loyalty
convertible-
counter on it
So,
in addition.
for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Spark Double is a 4-drop. It is 3 colorless and 1 blue. It is a 0/0 creature, but you have it enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature or planeswalker you control, except if it's a creature, it gets an additional +1/+1 counter, and if it's a planeswalker, you get an additional loyalty counter on it when it enters, and it's the copy is non-legendary, so you can copy a planeswalker that you have.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it does say that you control.
Yeah.
Clever Impersonator does not.
No.
It says you can copy anything.
Mm-hmm.
But this is less taxing on your mana because it's 1 blue, so it's much more splashable.
Yeah.
And also you're getting that bonus
Yeah.
for playing it because I have Nico Bolas on the board.
Yeah.
I'm going to copy Nico Bolas and have an extra loyalty. I have a Teferi on the board. I'm going to copy my Teferi, give it an extra loyalty.
Yes, that's
now you've got to
really
kill
good.
both of my Teferis.
Two God Pharaohs.
Controls Wet Dream.
Yeah, two
Yeah.
God Pharaohs is exactly what I was thinking about with this.
Well, I'm actually thinking about stuff like Davriel Kane.
Okay.
Right? So Davriel Kane, I don't think we went over last episode,
No.
is a planeswalker in the new set that checks the number of cards in your hand, and then if you have under a certain amount, you take damage. So those kind of
Your
static...
opponents take damage.
Your opponents take damage, sorry. And then I think those kind of abilities that you can double with Spark Double are more interesting. Like, okay, copying Dragon God is kind of magical Christmas land.
It's magical, or Teferi is also sort of magical Christmas land, but at the same time, like...
But like the
just-
three mana
seems-
planeswalkers like Kiora and Davriel Kane and
Oh,
Dovin,
it definitely has some interesting
yeah,
interactions
and
with
Dovin
those, for
Vaughn.
sure.
Just
Yeah.
doubling those static abilities is a big deal.
Yeah. No, you're right. So you ready to move on to
Yeah.
Tamiyo's Epiphany? Tamiyo's Epiphany is a 4-drop. It's 3 colorless, 1 blue. It's a sorcery. You get to scry 4, then draw 2 cards. You were way more excited about this card than I was, so I'm gonna let you
You
take
get to
it
see
away, Kenny.
you get to see 6 cards. I like seeing 6 cards for 4 mana.
Yeah.
As do I.
Yeah.
But it's 4 mana sorcery, so you have to do it
Okay.
on your main phase. And like I understand the card advantage in there is like potentially nuts, but if
Yeah.
I'm a control player, you know what I don't want to be doing on my main phase?
Turn
Spending
4?
turn 4, spending all
Okay.
that mana to scry 4.
Okay,
and
but
draw
this isn't
2.
going to be a card that you play on turn 4 most of the time. This could be a card you play on like turn 7.
But if I can't play it on turn 4,
You can play it on turn 4.
but if I can't play it on turn 4, is it even worth playing?
Well, okay, so it is strictly worse than Chemist's Insight.
Yes. This is
And
a card.
I
it's
will
not
accept that.
It's not necessarily bad. The problem with it is you can only play it late game.
Yes.
I mean, you can potentially play it early game, but if you play it early game, you're taking off a whole turn to do nothing but this.
But look
So,
at 6
like,
cards,
it's just, yeah, to me, it's just not worth it.
But see, I mean, this will never see play in anything but control decks if it sees play in control decks ever. Or Commander.
See playing control decks.
There's just so many other
But,
options.
yeah.
with-
There's so many
really
strictly
like it.
better options.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There's strictly better. Like, I feel like Opt is better than this. Scry
Opt is
One's
better than
Realm.
this.
Exactly. So why would you play this, Kenny?
I immediately went to Serum Visions, and I could do that.
Well, we were talking more standard, but yeah, even Serum Visions. Yeah.
Okay.
Strictly better. Many more strictly better choices than this card.
6
Great.
cards, man. 6 cards for 4 mana.
With great
Ridiculous.
cost comes great loss.
Alright. So, I hate this next card. Okay. We're going to be talking about the Elder Spell. Please read it, Kenny.
Okay, so the Elder Spell is double black for a sorcery. And when you play it, it destroys any number of target planeswalkers. You choose a planeswalker you control and put 2 loyalty counters on it for each planeswalker destroyed this way. This is a counter to the 37 planeswalkers that we have in the set.
Well, it was nice knowing you all. My Magic career is over now. I'll see you later.
Haley's been ripping for the last, however many days this has been spoiled.
3, 2...
Something like that.
I think it got spoiled on Monday, but I mean this has the potential to shut down everything I ever play. So also I could potentially use it to my advantage. Now there's 2 different ways you can play this spell.
So
I'm a fan of one and not a fan of the other.
I think this will be a big reason that Planeswalker decks play black.
Every Planeswalker deck should play black.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
One of the big reasons.
Yeah.
In that you can just kill the planeswalkers on your opponent's side of the board and put loyalty counters on your stuff.
Well, you can even do it this way. So this can be used 2 ways. You can use it to your advantage, or you can use it to your opponent's disadvantage. And what I mean by that, so you can destroy any number of target planeswalkers. Wow, you're playing Super Friends. You know what I need to do? Kill all your planeswalkers. Elder Spell. Or, alternatively, look, I'm playing Super Friends. Here's my Bolus. Here's my Elder Spell. Kill my other planeswalkers. Put all the counters on Bolus. Win the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But man, this card hurts so bad.
I think it's so good.
It's
It's
in
really
the
cool.
rare slot too. It's just kind of like it's a 2-drop rare
It'll
like
be a chase.
board wipe
Yeah. It'll
for
be a
Super
chase.
Friends.
It'll be a chase.
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool card, actually.
It's stupid, and we should move past it. James, please pull up the next card.
The Raze Boar.
Oh, man.
Oh, this 5-drop 6/6.
This is a kill on sight
Man,
if I
it
ever
is-
saw one.
5-drop 6/6 Trampler. Mana cost is 3 colorless, 2 red. Oh dear God, this is insane. He says, whenever you attack, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking, and then return that creature to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. When he dies or is put into exile from the library, you may put it into the owner's library third from the top. Now, he also has the God Eternal
Yes, he does.
thing. And I
'Cause
think
he's a
that's, well, yes, he's a god, but we also don't have Hezret anymore.
Oh, you're right.
Hezret's the only one that actually, like, died and was, like, dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, it makes sense that he would have this ability, so we've got 1 card in every color that has this ability.
Okay.
But also, that second ability, hot damn.
Yeah. So
Hot damn.
So Ilark does specifically have to attack, but this is kind of like Gruul players' top end.
No, this is like
Red X, yeah.
Anybody who's playing red in any capacity is like
This is still a mid-range card. Like it's not going to see
it's
play in
totally,
aggro decks.
You're not going to see it in aggro decks, but at the same time, like if you think about this in like a commander deck, it's like, oh, let me swing. Here's Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre.
Or just Craterhoof.
Or like literally anything I'm putting onto the board for free, swinging with it, and then returning it back to my
I like
hand.
Craterhoof best.
I don't care what you like best. It doesn't matter because you're paying 5 mana for X amount of power.
Yeah.
6 plus X.
One thing to keep in
attack
mind.
with?
One thing to keep in mind is that Ilark does say put onto the battlefield, so it dodges counter spells.
Yeah, it dodges counter spells. Although it also, you don't get like cast triggers for it either, though.
Yeah, so your
Ulamog,
Eldrazi
where
gods wouldn't be as good with it,
but
but
the ones
there's
with annihilators
there's still
are.
10/10 annihilators.
Yeah, there's still 10/10 annihilators. I don't think I care if it comes in and pops a permanent anymore. It's a 10/10 with annihilator. Like, annihilator makes everything better. But yeah, this card is definitely mid-range, but so good. Just insane.
If
The
you like
amount of
windmill
power
slamming
that we
large
get from
creatures
this
for
card.
free, this is your best card.
Yeah, for sure. So next we've got Nyssa, who shakes the world. Oh no, sorry, Awakening of
Vigazi,
Vitu. Yeah, my bad. I skipped a card. I got excited for Planeswalkers. Sue me. I don't know what you want me to do.
Skipped like 2 cards.
No, I skipped one.
2 cards.
No, it's one. Awakening of Vitu. It's a 5-drop instant spell, 3 colorless, 2 green. You get to put 9 +1/+1 counters on a target land you control. It becomes a legendary 0/0 elemental creature with haste named Vitu. It's still a land. That's scary.
5 mana hits someone for 9.
Yes, that's exactly what that is.
Yeah, it's great. Or 5 mana, put a 9/9 down that blocks.
Yeah,
sure.
Like, can you imagine the look on... Now, granted, you're probably going to see this happen more often, but just, like, the very first time that this hits, somebody's like, I'm going to swing all into you. Here's my 6/6 boar guy. And you're like, oh no, just kidding. Here's my 9/9 land.
Yeah. The fact it's an instant is just so
Yeah,
good.
it is an instant, so you can reactively do it. You can play the card defensively, which is really good. And it just makes a 9/9. It's just, I have a 9/9 now.
The only downfall, I mean, it's still a land, so if you're playing green, I don't think you really care, because green is just all of the mana ramp.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, now you've got a land that's a creature to use it as a creature to use it as a land.
I don't know
That's
about...
why, like, the elemental land creatures always mess with me.
I don't know about you, but, like, all of these Land Matters cards that we're seeing kind of are shaping into this really cool land stacks that I'm
we're
really excited for.
going back to Zendikar.
No, please
Calling
no.
it right now, we're going back to
No.
Zendikar.
Please
Telling you this is exactly why they're bringing us all back.
But yeah, if you like hitting your opponents with your lands, this card's for you.
Yeah. Alright, Kenny was right. I skipped 2 cards. I'm sorry. I get really excited about Planeswalkers. Next, we have God Eternal Ronus, which is not as exciting to me as a Planeswalker.
It's still really good.
Still insanely good. This is your finisher.
This is This is the other card you play with Ilarg.
Yes. God Eternal Ronus, 5-drop, 3 colorless, and 2 green for a 5/5 legendary zombie god with Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, you double the power of each other creature you control until the end of turn. Those creatures gain vigilance, also until end of turn. And then, of course, when he dies or is put in exile, you can put it 3rd from the top.
Yeah. So... Give Ilarg haste, swing Ilarg, drop Ronus?
Yeah. Everything is all of the same.
Everything dies?
Like, this is a potential, like, if you've played nothing other than this, like, I mean, obviously you've played other creatures, but if this is your turn 5 play, like, and you've done nothing else to progress the state of killing them except play this, like, that's turn 5 death.
Yeah, it's kind of a swing. It's kind of an alpha swing. It's fantastic.
That's an alpha strike if I've ever seen an alpha strike.
All of these gods are kind of, well, not Kafnet, but Kafnet is too. They're all kind of just like, you windmill slam them on the table and they all say just deal with me.
That's exactly what these cards do.
Which is a really nice refresher from Amonkhet, which is not what they were at all.
I think it works nice with the flavor of everything too,
Yeah.
because the flavor of this is they're the God Eternals. The Eternals are like zombies times 12, 13, 14, 15, something like that. Like, they're stupid. They're stupid strong.
Yeah.
They're the strongest of the strong. So, yes, you're going to windmill slam your God Eternals.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
Card's really interesting.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Well, now we get to go to Nyssa.
Yeah.
So, Nyssa, who shakes the world. Hi, Nyssa. Welcome back, you dirty, rotten traitor. Don't tell me she's not, because she is, because she left. But hi, welcome back. Sure, we need all the help we can get. So 5-drop, so 3 colorless, 2 green. She comes out with 5 loyalty. Her static ability says whenever you tap a forest for mana, you get to add additional green. Her +1 puts 3 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target non-creature land you control. You untap it and it becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with vigilance and haste, and it is still a land. And her -8 says you get an emblem. Lands you control have indestructible. And then you also get to search your library for any number of force cards and put them onto the battlefield tapped and then shuffle your library.
So
her -8 just...
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, fun fact, shocklands that produce green mana are also forests.
Yeah, so you're just like, I'm going to tap it out of blue. And then also, additionally, adds a green. So I've got 2 mana for 1 land.
Yeah.
But I've got 2 mana of different color fixations, which makes it even better.
Yeah. And then getting to her -8 is just like, look at all these lands I have. Also, I believe Kaeya's Wrath, does it say destroy all creatures? Destroy all destroy all creatures, so it would destroy those.
Except if you get that -8 off, not anymore because your lands are indestructible.
Yeah. River's Rebuke.
How did she like just go from leaving and just being a brat about everything? I'm sorry, she missed Zendikar. Maybe she wasn't being a brat, but like
she Kool-Aid Man her way into the set.
Abandoned all of her friends and then is like, she's like Liliana from Eldritch Moon, the Last Hope, when she comes and she's like, here I've come to save the day, and I look fabulous.
She kind of Kool-Aid Manned her way into the set, which is fantastic.
She definitely did. I mean, a lot of these Planeswalkers Kool-Aid Manned their way into this set, though.
Yeah, but I think Nyssa may be the one that takes the cake on her entrance.
Yeah, whatever. Casualties of War, please, James. I'm done talking about Nyssa. So, this card is kind of niche. It is, because Casualties of War, it's a 6-drop sorcery, it's 2 colorless, 2 black, and 2 green. So, like, that mana cost alone puts you into, like, a more specific deck type. Yes. Although, the ability it has, choose one or more. One or more. Destroy target artifact, destroy target creature, destroy target enchantment, destroy target land, destroy target planeswalker. I don't like that, or that. Bye.
Yeah. So this is a spell with 5 modes for 6 mana that lets you cast all of those modes when you cast a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, modal spells, first of all, I think are some of the most valuable spells they've ever given us because they give you options, which makes them good in more than one scenario.
Yeah. But
the ones that allow you to choose more than one mode...
Yeah, your commands, your
good?
charm, not your charms, your, I don't remember. I know the commands do.
The commands do it. The charms do it.
Charms do?
Charms do it, yes.
Okay.
Charms give you modals, the commands gives you modals. There have been several other modals throughout different sets. Point is, modal spells are the best spells. I don't care if the spell's kind of niche. It's cool.
Yep. It's a better demolition, which requires you to have one of each of those permanents in play before you cast it.
I'm ready for the next card.
Hey!
Olis, the Dragon God!
This is the big bad guy.
Ugh. As much as I know, we all know that he's going to lose in the end because the Gatewatch is going to use the power of friendship. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And by my god, I mean the Dragon God. Nicol Bolas Dragon God. He is a 5-drop. He is 1 blue, 3 black, 1 red, comes out for 4 loyalty. His static ability is nuts.
Yep. So
nuts. Nicol Bolas Dragon God has all loyalty abilities of all other planeswalkers on the battlefield.
Yes. Loyalty abilities.
Anything you can do, he can do better.
Yeah, but only once per turn.
Anything you can do, he can do better. But only once per turn, unless you've got Oath's Fairy.
Then you can do it twice per turn.
Then you can do it twice per turn. His +1 says you draw a card and each opponent exiles a card from their hand or a permanent they control. His -3 destroys target creature or planeswalker, and his -8 says each opponent who doesn't control a legendary creature or planeswalker loses the game.
Yes.
Hi, welcome back. Let's speak once again of the other spell. I kill all your planeswalkers, put all the counters on Bolas, and you dead.
Yeah, -8 Bolas.
I just love when they do story theme combos like that. It's just so great.
You do need at least 2 other planeswalkers in play before you can cast the Elder spell, right? I'm aware of the set we're in. I'm just saying.
Potentially. It depends on what you're playing. I mean, to make this combo work, yes.
Yeah, on turn 5 or whatever.
To make this combo work on it'd be turn 6, 7.
Turn 7.
Depends on what kind of mana dorks you have.
The chat seems to be in agreement that all hail Ultimate Snap.
But this card is fantastic. So the +1 draws you a card and then removes a thing. which is all you really need.
Your -3 removes you a thing.
Removes
and the
a thing.
-8 just wins you the game.
Yeah, it
But
says
that
loses
static
the
ability,
game on it,
man.
which is fantastic.
I understand that he's hard to cast because of the triple black, except he's just so good because it's not even on your battlefield, it's on the battlefield.
Yeah.
So I'm playing Grixis Super Friends against Esper Control. That's a nice Teferi you have there.
I'm so hoping I pull one of these.
Bounce your Teferi.
Yeah. So it's just
be aware that he does not copy the passive abilities of all planeswalkers.
No.
Just the
he
loyalty,
doesn't. Just the
activated
loyalty
ones.
abilities. Yeah, you're right. People aren't quite aware of that, so that's something that needs to be said. Only the loyalty abilities.
Yep. So you don't get he
you don't get 2 instances of
whatever planeswalker you have in plays passive.
Yeah, it just doesn't work like that. I don't think you'd want
like Estrid,
2 of them.
Or not Estrid. What's the wizard that protects your guys?
Carmina.
Carmina, like double Carmina's passive.
Yeah, you can't have double Carmina passive, but that's okay. All right, now I guess we move on to the still great dragon, but not as great as Bolus Dragon, Niv Mizzet Reborn.
It's a lot of text.
He is one of every color.
For a 6/6
5
flyer.
mana for a 6/6 flyer. First of all, that's amazing. You know me, I play 5-color decks all the time. This is my bread and butter. He is a 6/6 flyer that says, when he enters the battlefield, you reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each color pair, you choose a card that's exactly those colors from among them. Put the chosen cards into your hand, and the rest to the bottom of the library in any order. Or, sorry, in a random order. My bad. A random order. But still, if you're playing a 5-color deck, that's 10 potential cards into your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, I understand 10 is like the nut draw.
It's like...
But it's still potentially 10 cards in your hand.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah, it is. But just getting to look at the top 10 cards.
Yeah.
Is really good.
It makes it even better, too, because you get to one of each, but then they don't go to your graveyard after. Whereas, like, you see a lot of effects that do similar things to this, where they go to your graveyard if they don't match that. This goes to the bottom of your library, which just makes them that much better. And it's 5 mana for a 6/6 flyer. That's so good.
Yeah.
I understand. He's hard to cast. Don't at me.
I think this is a fantastic commander card.
Oh, yeah. We'll be talking about this far more for Commander.
Forgive me for being a moron here, but I don't get what it means by for each color pair.
So you're gonna reveal 10 cards, and then for each guild.
So each guild represents a color pair.
Yeah.
So like Mirror's blue-black, Izzet's blue.
Understand
So you get one. You essentially get one card from each guild.
Yeah.
Okay.
More or less.
I get it.
Yeah.
I got it.
So good.
So you're gonna get you have 10 different color pairs that you can pick from, and then you get each one of each different color pair, but they have to be exactly that color pair.
I got it.
So like 3 color cards that won't see, monocolor cards that won't see. It has to be 2 color cards.
Correct.
Cool.
Yeah. Speaking of, we're not speaking of anything, but we're just moving on because Oath of Kaeya is cool as hell.
Yeah, Oath of Kaeya is really cool. So Oath of Kaeya, Oath of Teferi, together forever.
Yes. So we got a new member of the Gatewatch, everybody. It's Kaeya Ghost Assassin. The Ghost Assassin, I should say. Oath of Kaeya is a 3-drop legendary enchantment. It is 1 colorless, 1 black, and 1 white. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to any target. You gain 3 life. That in itself is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to say, whenever an opponent attacks a planeswalker you control with 1 or more creatures, Oath of Kaeya deals 2 damage to that player and you gain 2 life. I don't know about you, but I always play a lot of planeswalkers, and people don't swing at me, they swing at my planeswalkers.
Yeah.
So
you gotta kill them.
So now I kill them for attacking my planeswalkers.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's attacks. So
I'm not planning anything.
So like this card in conjunction with what's the one card from Dominaria that says whenever you attack a creature planeswalker you control, you have to pay 2.
Yes. I know what card you're talking about.
The legendary, it's like a 4-drop. Well, anyway, that card exists.
Don't bring up cards that you don't know the name of, Kenny. You're just confusing people.
It's white. It's very good. And it curves into this.
Yeah, it does curves into this very nicely.
And then into Oath of Teferi.
Teferi, which just makes it even better.
Yeah. So, taxes and Planeswalker abilities seems like fun.
Taxes and Planeswalker abilities is the strategy. It is the best strategy. Will always be the best strategy. And I don't care what you say.
I think Kaeya is just a cool character.
Kaeya is
a
so
very
cool,
character.
the ghost assassin, how she can like insert and exert herself from the spectral world.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Also, the flavor text on this seems a little vindictive, and I'm kind of into it.
She's white-black, so...
It's a little vindictive, and I'm kind of into it. The flavor text says, so everyone gets what they truly deserve. I will keep watch.
Yeah.
Not as good as Liliana's flavor text, which is, I will keep watch. Happy now? Or something like similar along those lines.
Something flippant like that.
Something flippant like that, because it's Liliana. But, yeah, no. This is...
Oath of Kaeya is a really good
Oath
card.
of Kaeya is good enchantment slot. I am very happy with it, and it will probably find a place in Super Friends.
Yes, it definitely
Commander. Will. Next up, we have another Planeswalker, Rau Storm Conduit.
So
Such
this guy's got
great
an infinite
artwork.
combo. It makes me so happy.
I don't want to talk about the
Such awesome artwork for this card.
Oh, the artwork for so much of this set is on point. Can we just
Yeah.
say that for a second?
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
I
gorgeous
work in,
artwork.
I
Gorgeous.
work in the printing industry, and I can't tell you how you can get that kind of color pattern, like so luminescent off a card.
So good.
Yeah.
So pretty. Anyway, Rau, Storm Conduit. He is a 4-drop, 2 colorless, 1 blue, 1 red for 4 loyalty. His static ability says whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, he deals 1 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. His +2 scries you 1, and his -2 says when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, you copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. This works so good with Kefnet.
Yeah, I know, it's great.
Like, there's so much synergy in there.
Yeah, it's great.
It's stupid.
This is going to my commander deck.
So for those of you not aware, the infinite combo is basically Rau and 2 spells that copy each other. Or 2 spells that copy another spell. So he just has to exist, and then you just keep copying spells.
I copy it, I copy it, I copy it, I
Yeah.
copy it. It's so good, but so stupid. And we don't need this in our lives.
So it's like turn 5, whoops, you died. It's great. And instant speed.
That wasn't a whoops you died. That was like, ha, I killed you. That was no whoops about that. Alright, let's take a look at Tamiyo, Collector of Tales. Now, I think this name is cool as hell.
Yeah.
Because it totally follows her story that we saw back in Shadows
she just wants to keep
Moon.
records of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what she does.
Yeah.
Tamiyo, Collector of Tales, is a 4-drop. She is 2 colorless, a blue and a green for 5 loyalty. Her static ability says spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to discard cards or sacrifice permanents. First of all, that's static ability, though.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, +1, you choose a non-land card name, then reveal the top 4 cards of your library and put all cards with the chosen name from among them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. And her -3 says return target card from your graveyard to your hand.
So she's looking at the top cards, cherry picking what you need, and then getting you whatever you need later down the line.
Yeah, I have to say, her static ability,
Yeah.
it hits you in the heart. It's really good. But her +1 is good in specific kinds of decks.
I think her +1 is very good in all kinds of decks. I think they're both very good.
Here's why I'm a little hesitant to say something like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I think she's good. But you choose a card name, reveal the top 4 cards of your library, and put all cards with that name from among them into your hand. If you're not playing a deck that runs, like, Persistent Petitioners, or Relentless Rats, or some card of that nature where it's like you can have as many of them in the deck as you want, that's a crapshoot.
Okay.
So, it's good, but also, like, it's better in decks where you're just playing, like, 24 Persistent Petitioners, because chances are in those 4 cards, I'm going to hit, like, probably 2 of them at minimum.
Yeah.
So, I think in that case it's a crapshoot, and it's, like, okay, but her -3 is definitely good.
Yeah, it's E-Witness. You just get a card back.
Yeah, and that's static ability, though. But then we're going to be taking a look at Ashe and Dreamrender.
This card's really cool.
I love this card. The only thing I don't love about this card is the artwork, because it reminds me so much of her other artwork. It looks like they just took, like, the same, like, Ashe and, like, superimposed a different background.
If you notice, she's got bolus horns, and then there are bolus horns behind her.
Yeah, but she's always kind of had, like, the weird horn thing going on her head. Or, like, the weird headdress thing.
At one point, she was just, like, half of a head.
Okay. Ashiok Dreamrender. She's a 3-drop. She's got you have to pay 1 colorless, and then it's got hybrid mana, so you pay either 2 blue, 2 black,
or any combination,
combination of the sort. She comes out with 5 loyalty. Spells. Her static ability is spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause their controller to search their library, which. Okay. Her -1 says target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard, then exile each opponent's graveyard.
So if no one hits her, she can mill 20 cards.
Yes.
Right? And
potentially.
20 cards. 4 times 5, yeah.
If she doesn't have anything else up with her.
Yeah. And then she just stops. She strangleholds you. It's great.
It's brilliant.
She's fantastic.
Absolutely brilliant. I want everything to do with her. Absolutely everything to do with her.
Yeah.
Like, I'm probably going to pick up like 6 or 7 of her because I have so many decks that already exist in which she is amazing in. Just so good. Like, opponents searching their libraries is probably like one of the bane of existences of everybody who ever plays Magic. Because I'm going to search my deck for that one card that I need. So
actually,
this is that one card.
Landfind too. So she might see play in boards for Modern because she stops.
I'm not bold enough to make any sort of Modern
lands.
claims, but yes.
Like, she stops fetch
She
lands.
stops everything.
Yeah. I mean, she is 3 mana, but she stops fetch lands and she mills cards. So I can see that the blue-black mill deck that exists in Modern playing this in the board.
Yes. Alright, last card we're going to be talking about today is, in fact, a land, which is interesting because not every land is that exciting to talk about. So we're going to be talking about Blast Zone. It's a land that enters the battlefield with a charge counter on it. You can tap it to add a colorless mana. You can pay 2x, tap it, and put X charge counters on it. Or you can pay 3, tap it, sacrifice it, and destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on Blast Zone.
Yep.
It's very good.
It's Ratchet Bomb.
Yes. The only thing I don't like about it is I like a lot of the new cards have been made with similar effects to this.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them say with this converted mana cost or less. So this is like very specific. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's still good. Especially like this would be really funny against token decks. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
It comes in with 1, so it
comes in with 1.
Yeah. So it can't blow up tokens.
Never mind. Not good against tokens. Redacting my statement and pulling it back because I can't do basic math. But yeah, the only thing I don't like about it is the fact that it has to hit a very specific converted mana cost.
Okay.
But it's also like a 3 mana pseudo wipe. So that's pretty good.
And it destroys permanents, or non-land permanents, which is relevant. And
for sure.
Crucible of Worlds is in the standard format.
Yeah, but when was the last time you saw Crucible of Worlds see play in the standard format?
I think we're going to start seeing it.
We might. We'll have to see what happens with that.
I'm just saying it exists.
It does exist. That is a thing. I don't think we're going to see a lot of it, though. If we haven't seen it thus far, I think the chances of seeing it become less so, except I've been very wrong before, so I'm probably just putting my foot in my mouth right now.
I mean, we're getting like Nyssa and Vitagazi and Blast Zone, so.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, we'll have to see, because I mean, like we talked about last time, that this is a format in which you can take probably any idea you've ever had in Magic and build it in the standard format, because it's so wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can build any piece of jank you could ever want, I think, and have it be successful. But, James, you were going to say something?
Nope.
Oh, you started to take a breath in. My bad.
I was breathing, I'm sorry.
Breathe quieter, damn it.
See, James breathes too loud. We just can't handle it, man.
We just can't handle it.
No.
But with that wraps up the spoilers we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to jump into the lore for the last bit of our show.
Yeah, okay.
Sounds great.
So some of you may have seen Wizards of the Coast recently released a video that kind of vaguely detailed Bolas's plot. But we're going to go a little bit more in depth into that than they did. So we're going to start all the way back in Kaladesh. Because that's kind of when we discovered that there was this big when we discovered that this big overarching plan was taking place.
There were probably hints of it.
Oh, there were many hints of it
in other
before
sets
this.
like Alara and a
Tarkir.
couple Tarkir. Yeah.
Yeah, you saw hints of this in sets before, but this main storyline really kicked off in Kaladesh. Yeah. So yeah, let's just start with Kaladesh. So in Kaladesh and Aether Revolt, one of the underlying issues that was going on was you had the Renegade movement, which I thought was particularly cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was this
very overbearing...
It was this authoritarian regime.
Yeah.
A regime. Let me speak correctly. Regime. English is fun, guys. And the Renegades were not all for that authoritarian regime. Basically, what was it? The consulate?
Yes, the consulate cracked down on everybody who had a creative thought ever.
Was restricting specifically the aether flow, right?
Yeah, they were specifically restricting the aether flow, so people couldn't get... on Kaladesh, the thing you have to understand about the aether is that it is the lifeblood of everything. It is their electricity. It's what they use to make, like, some forms of magic happen. It's their lifeblood there. So they were being severely cut off from it.
Yeah, if they weren't part of the consulate or following the laws that they put in place.
Right, and you had, actually, one of our main characters, Chandra, she grew up on Kaladesh, and she grew up as part of the Renegade movement. So did her parents, which actually ultimately caused her to leave, because her parents were killed, and they tried to kill Chandra, and she planeswalked away.
Yeah, she blew everything up and planeswalked away.
Well, she blew everything up, because... they framed her for blowing everything up. So she was like, you want to see me blow stuff up? I will blow stuff up.
And she's done nothing else ever since. Nothing but ever since.
Yeah. And the reason we bring up the Renegade movement first is because the Renegades are the reason that Dovin Bond actually came to the Gatewatch in the first place, to bring them to Kaladesh.
Yeah, he was trying to basically hire them to be security guards, if I remember
He wanted
correctly.
them to be security guards, and they were like... who are you looking for? They're like, the leader of the Renegades. They're going to try and shut down the Inventors Fair. We'll get to the Inventors Fair in a second. And they were like, well, is it a planeswalker? And he's like, no. And they're like, then thanks, but no.
Yeah, because the Gatewatch was specifically
Formed
created to deal with planeswalkers.
Yeah, they decided that they were going to take
threats.
on extra planar threats as opposed to just, minor security squabbles.
Yeah.
But... he wanted them as security for the Inventors Fair, which is really how this whole plot came to be. Because the Inventors Fair...
that's how it started coming together, yeah.
Yes, it was being judged by Tezzeret, who we found out thanks to Liliana.
Basically Bolas's right-hand man at this point.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He, I don't think he can be considered anything other than Bolas's right-hand man in this whole mess. He's one of the very few planeswalkers who is left on Bolas's side. And frankly, I don't know how he doesn't see.
Yeah, it's like him and Dovin.
Yeah, I think he's probably along the lines of like, oh, Tezzeret, you're gonna be a god, and Tezzeret's like, yes, I want to be a god.
Yeah, Tezzeret's got a whole other backstory. Basically, he just wants to be like immortal forever.
All the planeswalkers do, because they want to be gods back like they were pre-mending. But back to the main story. The Inventors Fair was set up because Kaladesh is very much this place of inventing and creativity, and they love to make things, and half of their mages on this plane are artificers, however it's pronounced it. Yeah, so Tezzeret and Bolas and Bon and several others involved in this scheme, they put together the Inventors Fair, in which they are looking for a device that can transport things from one plane to another without having a planeswalker spark. And fortunately for them, unfortunately for us, an inventor by the name of Rashmi creates the planar bridge. And then everything just kind of goes downhill from there.
Well, so once they find it, Tezzeret basically arrests all the inventors to take all their stuff.
Yeah, he takes all of their... he puts them all under arrest.
Like,
well, not all of the inventors.
Thanks for coming, guys. I'll take these now.
Yeah, he takes all of the inventors' inventions, and then the inventors that more or less won the Inventors Fair all got locked in a room.
Yeah.
And were like, finish your work and do this, and they got stuck in there. The consulate cracked down even more on the aether flow. The consulate cracked down even more on the aether flow so that the inventors that were making these had everything that they needed. Yeah, and that's kind of when we got the hint at Bolus's master plan, because Tezzeret can't keep his mouth shut. And when he finally got the planar bridge, he was like, we need this for a much bigger purpose. And then we kind of all went, oh shit.
Yeah, so they did end up destroying the actual thing, but Tezzeret's just like, oh, JK, I made a copy.
He made a copy inside of himself.
So now they had to kill Tezzeret, which is fun because he's like half robot.
Yeah. So he put a copy of the planar bridge inside of himself, even though the initial planar bridge got copied, and he planeswalked away.
Yeah.
And then we got information that Bolus had something going on in Amonkhet.
Yep.
And then
the Gatewatch hooked up with a Johnny.
Yes, the Gatewatch hooked up with a Johnny.
Like, ever since I think Alara has been keeping tabs on Bolus to some extent.
For sure.
Because he hates Bolus.
He hates Bolus with a burning passion. It's his goal to destroy him, and so he joined the Gatewatch with the intention of, I will help you kill Bolus, and then they all went, oh my god.
James is a big fan of Tezzeret.
James was holding up his Tezzeret playmat, and just generally being obnoxious.
From Grand Prix Detroit.
Yeah.
And so they all find out that he's going to Amonkhet, so the Gatewatch is like, let's go to Amonkhet, and Johnny's like, hold up, let's be smart about this. And Gideon is like, no, we're going.
Well, no,
like,
okay, so it was a mix of things. It was like, Gideon was like, nah, man, we can take him now, and he was kind of beating his chest and getting ready to go.
Yeah,
and
Gideon was doing his beefcake thing.
And then Liliana is just like, she gathers Chandra and she gathers Gideon and she's like, hey guys, we should definitely go.
Because she's got a demon there.
Because
she's heard whispers that one of her demons is there.
Yeah.
So ultimately they just totally disregarded Johnny's advice.
Johnny, Jace, and Nyssa's advice.
Oh, yeah.
Because Nyssa was like, I'm not sure, guys. I don't think we should go. Can we just, like, go and relax somewhere? I want, like, a salad. And then Jace is like, guys, this seems like a bad idea.
Would Nyssa be Would Nyssa be one of those happy girls eating salads like in those commercials?
Yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
But she wouldn't be happy. She'd sit there with probably a scowl on her face while doing it, because she's not very people-friendly, and she was racist at one point in time, but then she wasn't.
She got Reddit to be not racist.
There's a long story behind that, but that's not what we're talking about.
Moving on.
So they went to Amonkhet, and there's some weird shit going on in Amonkhet.
They find gods.
Well, not only do they find gods, but Gideon is like, I'm home again, because they have the trials there.
Yeah.
And what they don't know about these trials is these trials are trying to find the best of the best of the best.
Yeah, to kill them and make them zombies.
Yeah, to kill them and make them zombies. The army of Eternals. So these kids, because they are kids, get tested in every possible way that you can be tested as a human being. And then if you win at the end, per se, you die.
It's kind of like 5 rounds of the Hunger Games.
Yes, 5 rounds of the Hunger Games. Basically. And the person who wins still dies.
Yeah. So it's like, you die, but then you live forever as a zombie.
Yes. More importantly, though, going back to before the trials, the first thing they notice when they get on Amonkhet is that, like, Bolus is everywhere.
Well, yeah, because he's narcissistic.
Well, yeah, but that's not the point. Bolus is everywhere, and that is concerning to everybody but Gideon for some reason. Because Gideon's like, yes, I see Bolus's horns up there, but, like, also these trials are amazing, and I should participate in them.
Yeah, of course.
So the legend behind the giant Bolus horns in the middle of the town, though, is the second sun.
Yeah.
Which, not many planes have 2 suns. So the fact that there's the second sun, and the lore behind the second sun is when the second sun goes in between Bolus's horns, much like his actual horns, where he's got the thing floating in the middle, the gem in the middle, the God Pharaoh will return.
Yeah.
And everybody's super psyched about this God Pharaoh, thinks he's this all-loving creature.
They worship him.
If you get eternalized, you're, like, forever in his good graces, etc., etc.
Yep.
Except we find out that the trials are not everything they're cracked up to be, and they're actually very dark and killing a lot of people needlessly. Bolus is not a good guy.
No.
And Nyssa, from listening to the plane, has discovered that he has, like, eradicated everything on this plane. And she's...
all of the white and green mana, yeah.
Yeah, all of the white and green mana. And this plane is dying. And then, we get to the hours, which is what everybody's waiting for. So when the second sun hits, everybody who's going to be eternalized gets eternalized, everybody who's going to die is dead, and everybody who's alive is also going to die.
Yeah, it kills everything.
That's the hours.
Like, basically, what was it? Their equivalent of the Nile, I forget what the name was.
The plagues of Egypt.
Yeah, basically, like...
It's basically the plagues
The
of
river
Egypt.
runs red with blood.
Yeah.
Yes. The
Like,
hours...
He kills everyone.
Yeah. There are 5 hours. There's every 1 hour for every hour before he returns. So once the second sun hits, the 5 hours hit.
Yeah.
And in the 5 hours, the first hour we have Razaketh, who is Liliana's demon. He comes out to play, and he ushers in what's essentially this first hour. All the other 3 gods come back.
Yep, the Scorpion God, the Scarab God, and the Locust God.
Yes, so there were originally 8 gods on this plane, and he left the 5 with the people to see over the trials, and then he took the 3 that he considered the strongest, and he corrupted them to be his minions of evil. And the gods used to be like these powerful beings that loved their people, and even once they were corrupted, they still love the people. They still took care of the people. It's just twisted because in their mind now everything is different. So they're doing the same. Like, they were already doing this stuff beforehand. It's just like, you didn't die when you won the trials. The trials were like a competition. Like, nobody was dying constantly. Yeah. So you had these people that were still more or less being like eternalized when they eventually died, but they were the champions.
Yeah, but they had they had this really interesting relationship with the dead before Bolas was there.
Yeah, much like the Egyptians.
Yeah, like they were
you
embalming.
You can definitely see
they were embalming and preserving their dead, and those zombies were working as like slaves effectively.
Yes.
Like doing a lot of the like basic housework, growing crops, stuff like that.
Yeah. So even if you died under the reign of Bolas, you just basically became like a slave mummy as opposed to like one of the Eternals. But the point being, once these 5 hours hit, you had all of the Eternals come back, and everybody, like, that was a moment in which you were like, these aren't normal zombies. These are super zombies. They will kill us, and now Bolas has an army.
Yep, they're coated in like a lapis plating. They called it Lazatep, I think.
Yes.
And it's like the super hard armor. And then, I mean, it's just a rotting zombie inside, but it kind of preserves the zombie and amplifies his strength and like all of the skills and
we're already talking like these were the strongest of the strongest people. So when they became zombies and they were amplified even more, like you had a super soldier army.
Yeah. And then he marched the army on Amonkhet and
preserved for
after the army marched on Amonkhet beforehand. After the 5th hours when Bolas came back and Bolas discovered the Gatewatch lurking around.
Yep.
Not much to our surprise, the Gatewatch all got defeated.
Oh, they got squished.
They got squished. Pretty bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
They didn't die.
No, they all died, or they didn't all die. They all lost in a very specific way. Like, he beat them all at their own game.
Yes.
I think Lily, he convinced to turn traitor.
Oh, he just looked at Lily. He said, like, you leave and I'll come find you later. And she was like, okay, bye. I know.
Yeah, but I believe the reason he convinced her to leave was that he told her he would not kill the rest of the Gatewatch.
Oh yeah, he said he wouldn't kill anyone. And
it's like, I won't kill them if you leave, and then you owe me.
Correct.
And then he mind wiped Jace. Well, he beat Jace in a mind battle, and Ugin like planted a little bomb inside of his brain.
Oh yeah, that was back in, I believe, Battle for Zendikar, or was it the first Zendikar set? It was the first Zendikar set.
One of them, yeah.
It was the very first Zendikar set. Ugin had bet Jace and left a tab in his memory that said if your memory ever gets erased, you're gonna automatically planeswalk to Ixalan, which is the next plane we go to.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, to sum it all up,
he wipes
Bolas beats everybody, 4 of them go to Dominaria, Jace goes to Ixalan, and Ixalan's where we go next.
Well, it's important that he breaks Gideon's Saral, like the whip sword he had, and he breaks his shield, so he makes Gideon feel vulnerable, which is important.
Yes, because Gideon up until this point was completely, impenetrable.
Like invincible, yeah.
He was basically invincible because he had this shield that every time somebody tried to penetrate him, It was like, nope, it was a gold
Yeah,
shield that popped
and then
up. And
Chandra, in her infinite wisdom, used fire against a dragon.
hey, now listen. All she's got is fire, man. Just leave her alone. She's doing her best.
She started getting creative at the beginning of the lore of the plane, and then she just like, you know what? Nah, just fire blasts all day long. And then Bolus's comment was
She
like,
was angry.
dude, I'm a dragon. Why?
Yeah, basically. Dragons don't burn. Everybody knows that.
I loved Amonkhet. I thought the style of this was just brilliant.
Yeah, if they only used all that style in the correct way with the Masterpiece series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
the Masterpiece was a whole nother situation.
man.
The invocations were a whole nother issue.
Yeah, they were bad.
And then
Impossible to read.
we move on to Ixalan. Jace got flung to Ixalan.
Dominaria first. Was it Dominaria?
No. Ixalan's first. Poor little Jace got flung to Ixalan, got his memory wiped, woke up on a beach, had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
And like had to relearn. He was calling himself by a completely different name. No idea who he was. No idea what to do. And then he started like losing his mind because he started like learning how to conjure up illusions, and so he like talked to himself. Or like talk to his illusions. He had no idea what was going on. This poor guy was just having the worst of days.
Yeah, and then he runs into Vraska, who hates him.
Wants to kill him. But then for some reason, we get the classic Jace is a puppy dog thing happening again, and Vraska's like, he doesn't even know who he is. He doesn't know what I can't kill him until he knows what he's done.
Yeah, Vraska feels bad because he doesn't know what he did, and she feels like it's not... She wouldn't be vindicated if she...
Yeah, so Vraska's a Gorgon, and she is on Ixalan as well.
Yeah.
She originally comes from Ravnica as well, which is the plane that Jace doesn't originate from, but that is his current home plane. So Vraska's there as well, but she's there under Bolus's
orders, yeah.
Orders.
She's trying to find...
She was given the thematic compass,
Yep.
and they basically what's going on in Ixalan is everybody's trying to find the Golden City of Vraska.
Yeah.
Every single faction or empire or whatever you want to call them, because they all call themselves different names, every race is looking for the Golden City of Vraska, because basically whoever controls Vraska controls Ixalan.
Yeah.
For the most part.
So the Ixalan block was a tribal set, and we had pirates, dinosaurs, vampires, and merfolk. My personal favorite. So I believe the merfolk already had Vraska.
Some of the merfolk knew where Vraska was.
Yeah,
not all
like,
of them, but like the older ones
they were
knew
kind
where
of
it
like
was,
the
and
natives.
They were kind of the protectors of Vraska.
Yeah, they were trying to keep it safe.
Yeah. Very, very few people actually knew where it was, and the people who, most of the people who actually knew where it was had already died.
Yeah.
And so it was this giant race to find the city. Well, Vraska and Jace have the thematic compass, which gives them a bonus.
They eventually find it.
They eventually find it, yes. The Sun Empire claims the Golden City for themselves. Who cares about the Sun Empire?
No, we meet
Watley. They were the dinosaurs. They had Watley. Watley is an irrelevant character, in my opinion.
Watley likes dinosaurs. She likes dinosaurs.
She's called the warrior poet. First of all, she didn't actually earn that title. But she was also being jerked around by the actual emperor. It's not important. Watley is not important. What is important is when they got to Vraska, they learned why... Vraska and Jace learned why they were there. And it was for an item called the Immortal Sun, which actually comes into play earlier on because it kept planeswalkers from walking off of Ixalan.
Yeah. So every walker that's on there is stuck there.
Yes, and they would be... the card Ixalan's Binding, the seal that's on there, would show up around them wherever they tried to planeswalk. They were physically incapable of leaving, and the Immortal Sun was kept in Vraska by Azor, who is a Sphinx, who, if that sounds familiar to you, it's
from
because
Ravnica.
he created the
Azorius.
guilds of Ravnica.
He created Azorius, yeah.
He created the guilds of Ravnica.
All of them?
Yeah, he set up the system that put the guilds in place, more or less.
Then he named one after himself.
And then he named one after himself because he's a very vain human being. But fun fact, he was actually friends with Ugin, and we find out that Bolos' plan has been spanning like way, way back.
Yeah,
because
like
Ugin's had this plan in place for thousands of years. Ixalan, the reason the Immortal Sun was even on Ixalan in the first place is because Ugin was trying to place a trap for Bolos.
Yeah, he turned Ixalan into a prison.
He turned Ixalan into a prison for Bolas. Unfortunately, Bolas found out and never went to Ixalan and killed Ugin, and then Ugin became unkilled because of Sarkhan.
Yeah.
That's another complicated part of the lore that we're not going to touch today.
Yeah.
But basically, the point was to find the Immortal Sun. That's why they sent Vraska there, so that when she found it, she could contact Tezzeret. Tezzeret would come in with the planar bridge, which was now inside of him, so he could pull it out of there.
Yep.
And take it to Ravnica.
Yeah.
So, also, I think it should be noted, too, that when they get to Vraska, Jace gets his memories back and remembers everything. Vraska is now, like, in love with Jace at this point. Jace is, like, in love with Vraska. And Vraska agrees to switch sides and help Jace.
Yes.
Except they have to come up with this elaborate plan
But because...
to wipe her memory and do the same thing that Ugin did to him.
I believe that's because Bolas is a telepath, right?
Because Bolas is a telepath, and they needed to keep him from learning that Vraska was a double agent. So he did the same thing that Ugin did to him, and he put a tab on one of her memories and completely erased himself from her head.
Yep.
And erased, like, any memories of being on there. And then they were able to leave Ixalan and move on with their life. To which we go to Dominaria, which is simultaneously happening at the same time as Ixalan.
Yes.
Which is where everybody else went to.
Yeah, so the Gatewatch has a fight. That's how Dominaria starts.
Yeah, it starts with the Gatewatch having a fight, and this is why I brought up earlier, for those of you who don't know, when I said Nyssa is a dirty, rotten traitor.
Nyssa quits.
And she quit the Gatewatch, because she's like...
Well, there were a couple reasons that she quit.
There were a couple reasons, one of them
first...
specifically being Lily, because this fight starts after Lily has said, I've got one more demon left, and funny story, he just happens to be here in Dominaria.
Yeah. Nyssa is kind of fed up with losing at this point.
Oh yeah, and she also misses Zendikar too, because she's connected with the soul of Zendikar.
Yeah.
And so, like, Zendikar was destroyed more or less by the Eldrazi before any of this happened.
Like,
so...
she wanted to focus on her home plane, and then when Lily kind of brought up that she was kind of absolutely manipulating the Gatewatch to get what she wanted out of them. She's just like, screw this, guys, I'm out.
So she broke her bond with the Gatewatch and she left, and this is why I say she's a dirty, rotten traitor.
She comes back.
To what? Shambles and ruins? Great, thanks for the help, Nyssa.
But then once Nyssa leaves, Lily and then Chandra's just like, dude, I just got my ass kicked. I'm out.
Yeah, Chandra does the same thing in more or less of a sense, where except of breaking her bond with the Gatewatch and like saying like, fuck you guys, I'm out, she does more of like I'm not good enough for this yet, I need to go train more.
Yeah.
And so she goes on her hunt for Jaya Ballard.
Yeah.
Who is an old pyromancer who was one of the original Dominarians.
Also who we will talk about in a second.
But basically what's going on in Dominaria when they get there, other than the fact that Lily's demon conveniently happens to be there.
Lily's basically pulling Gideon by a necktie.
Yeah, the Cabal.
Yeah.
The Cabal are an issue. The Cabal have something they need, something we want, and also Liliana's brother was turned into a lich for the Cabal, and that doesn't sit well with her.
No, she actually gets character development here, which is fantastic. She has to face her past.
Yes, which is incredible because Liliana's character development up to this point has been like intolerable to like I tolerate these people to like maybe I kind of care about these people like puppies, and now she's starting to get to a point where she's like, oh, these people are the only people on the face of the planet that like me. And also, like, I like them.
Yeah.
So...
It's like, turns out being alone is lonely.
Yes. But basically, the Cabal have this thing called the Black Blade, which they first of all need to defeat Liliana's last demon, Belzenlock.
Yeah, but it can also kill gods, I believe, right?
Yeah, I believe so. But they need the Black Blade. Mm-hmm. They need it. They need Gideon to wield it.
Yep.
Because you have to give up a part of your soul in order to use it. And let's be real, Lily doesn't
have
a
much
soul.
left.
She doesn't have much of a soul left. So they meet up with the guys on the Weatherlight, which gives us back to the original Dominaria crew. Yeah. You had Jaya and Karn and Teferi.
Yep.
We see Teferi, who is no longer a planeswalker.
I believe those three were the three main apprentices of...
Joyra was.
Urza.
Jaya was not. Joyra.
No, Karn, Joyra, and Teferi.
Yes, but Jaya is also there because she was part of the original Dominaria crew. Jaya is there because Chandra went and seeked her out, and then Chandra's like, "I need you to teach me," and she's like, "Joke's on you! I've been teaching you this whole time, and you never wanted to listen to me. So like, get lost, kid."
So bye, yeah.
But yeah, so they get Teferi and Karn back, and Teferi and Karn agree to help them.
And then Teferi takes the oath, yeah.
Teferi takes the oath, he gets his spark back. Joyra's been keeping his spark this whole time, locked inside the Mox Amber. Yep. She's been holding on to his spark in hopes that one day he would take it back.
Yeah, he got rid of it to protect his hometown. He came from an island called, I forgot what it was called. What was it called? Zhalfir.
Yeah.
The island of Zhalfir. And so...
An oopsie happened a long time ago, and now it's not quite there anymore.
Yeah.
So he's trying to make up for that.
It whoopsed away. He basically wrote it out of existence. So Teferi is this awesome time mage.
Yeah, he's one of the best. So Liliana and Gideon hook up with them.
Yep.
And
the rest of the
Chandra finds them and the rest of the Weatherlight crew. Teferi joins the oath. Karn says he's gonna help, but still thinks that he's gonna go and blow up all of Phyrexia.
He wants to nuke. Yeah,
he wants to nuke Phyrexia, but he is a peace-loving giant and couldn't hurt a fly.
So there's a bit of a conflict of ideals there. Kind of fantastic.
Yes, but they all get together. They get the Black Blade. They kill Belzenlock, and then Bolus gets the last piece of his plan on a technicality written into a contract.
Oh yeah,
he needs a necromancer to control the army of Eternals.
A powerful necromancer.
A very, very powerful and old necromancer who happens to be good now. And she thought that killing all of her demons would make her better. And she'd be able to gain full strength of her power and be able to do everything, except joke's on her, she didn't read the fine print of the contract, and now Bolus has complete and control of Liliana.
Yeah. So they killed Belzenlock, and then as soon as Belzenlock dies, Bolus is like, "Hey, you work for me now." And Lily's just kind of like, "Wait, what?" And then she leaves.
He goes, it went more like, "You can work for me, or you can die." And she thought for a very hot second about just ending it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, that brings us up to where we are
and
now.
And then she just leaves Gideon by himself
Ravnica.
on Dominaria, just like...
No, Gideon planeswalked away to Ravnica.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did. And then they were wondering why Liliana didn't follow. And she didn't follow because Bolus found her. So that kind of brings us back to where we are now.
Yeah.
Oh, Jace found them on Dominaria as well. When they were on
and then he read Lily the Riot Act and walked away.
He read Lily the Riot Act and walked back away and said when they came to their senses that the next part of Bolus's plan was on Ravnica and they needed to get there. And that is why Gideon planeswalked away to Ravnica.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings us to where we are now, which is Ravnica in complete and total turmoil.
So, Vraska killed Asperia, and that was kind of what started it. I believe.
Kind of, yeah.
Vraska was already kind of in charge of Golgari.
She wasn't in charge of Golgari. She was kind of like she was higher up in the League of Gorgons. What happened is when she came back from Ixalan, having done Bolus's bidding, Bolus gave her the Golgari clan leader.
Yeah.
The position of the Golgari queen that she is now. You had Kaeya come in, and
Kaeya
she
killed the Ghost Council.
Killed the Ghost Council, became the leader because she can go in and out of the spectral world. A lot of what information we have on Ravnica is stuff that we've gotten from flavor texts and whatnot. Yeah. Because a lot of the lore that they officially released for Ravnica was little one-shot pieces of what's going on in the guilds and how the turmoil is starting to take over, and all of the guilds are turning against each other.
I think the only stable one is Boros.
Except, not really, because all this corruption is going on within their ranks. They had a lot of corruption going on within the ranks.
All the guilds.
All the guilds. There's a lot of corruption going on. I mean, so the Orzhov have always been corrupted.
Well, that's their.
But
that's
the guilds are fighting with other guilds now, which is exactly what Bolus wanted. Because if everybody is busy fighting everybody else,
Bolus does what he wants.
Yes, and the most important piece leading up to War of the Spark.
Would be Dovin, I believe.
No.
No?
The most important piece leading up to War of the Spark and how we have 37 planeswalkers on the same
Rau.
plane at the same time. Actually, it's more than 37. We just only have 37 named planeswalkers. The reason we have all these planeswalkers on this plane is because of a thing called Project Lightning Bug, which they used to, the Izzet Guild, Ralzeric and Niv Mizzet mainly, used to keep track of planeswalkers.
Yeah.
Well, then Niv Mizzet kind of got an inkling of what was going on, and he told Rau that he needed to send it a beacon, turn the Project Lightning Bug into a beacon to call all the planeswalkers to come help. And this is who responded.
Yeah.
And then Niv Mizzet was killed.
So, yeah, Niv Mizzet and Bolas had a big dragon fight.
Big dragon
And
fight.
Niv Mizzet lost.
But
and then he got better.
that's what brings us to where we are today, and I am super excited. I already have the novel, because they're bringing novels back for the rest of the lore. I've got the novel already on pre-order to come to my house the day it releases, so you will not hear from me that day. I will give you my full review.
More lore is always good.
The lore is my favorite part of this stuff, so talking about it and going through it is always super cool. But main key pieces, current breakdown, we got the Gatewatch is doing the big bad thing. Tezzeret is the planar bridge, which is how he got the Immortal Sun, which means nobody can leave Ravnica, and Bolas has under his control the most powerful army of zombies and the most powerful necromancer to control this army of zombies.
And the spell he found on, what was on?
The Elder spell.
You found that spell on Amonkhet, right?
Dominaria. He found it on Dominaria. It was one of Urza's old research things.
Yeah. So the way to reverse the mending's effect on your spark is to kill all the other planeswalkers that you can find.
Well, that's not the only way to do it. It's just
their spark.
Using the sparks. The sparks create so much energy that it just makes that possible. Yeah. So, and that brings us to now.
Yep.
And like I said, I'm super excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I actually might read some of the books too.
I really want them to. We should get a Dak Faden card, right?
We will.
Yeah.
They announced him, yeah. They just haven't released him yet.
Dak Faden Eternal?
Maybe. I don't know. But with that, I think it's time to say goodnight.
Yeah. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, you guys. We'll see you next week.
All right, this was Move to Combat. We air every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can tweet us at @tocombat or email us at movetocombatpodcast@gmail.com. Catch us every Wednesday at 8 at Twitch TV/movetocombat.
Bye, guys.
If you liked our music selection for the intro and outro, you can find it at soundcloud.com/James Shive. That's JamesShaib. If you're interested in role-playing games, we have a sister podcast to us in our featured channels on YouTube called Brave Yet Stupid. You can check that show out on Saturdays at 6 p.m. at Twitch TV/Brave Yet Stupid. Again, if you're interested in role-playing games, there you go. I thought that was a great show, guys. Congratulations.
That was a lot.
That was so much.
That was a lot. And like we were.
Yeah, we hit an hour at.
Hey, you guys, an hour, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
we're still broadcasting, by the way.
Yeah, you guys are listening. Hi.
Just some wrap-up thoughts. Listen to us ramble and around for a minute if you care to. If not, thanks for tuning in. Have fun.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Again, for the person that just tuned in, you just missed the show. We are on every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the same channel.
You will find us on YouTube, though.
Yeah, if you go, we also have a Facebook page. If you prefer to use Facebook, you can find us by searching for Move to Combat, where you can find links to all of our past episodes, including this episode. The same with our Twitter account.
I don't look in my review mirror. Imagine what lies ahead. Said I don't look in my review mirror. Imagine what lies ahead. And I
I'm so
still,
sleepy today.
without fear, I am the last one left.
sleep.
And I stare
What is sleep?
without fear. I am
hear that.
the last one left. On a twist track, never
After
getting
3
very far.
months,
I'm taking
who
it
needs
back by the
sleep? I
left.
can
So
sleep when I'm
much
dead.
charm.
Blue green milk. I'm so
I used to say
excited.
that all the time when
So
I was
excited.
when I was in my 20s. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Well, now it's really catching up to me.
I don't know. Normally I'm up for like 2 days and then I shiv and meteor myself right into, or star of destruction myself right into my. Yeah.
Nice.
Anything in my way just kind of ends up underneath, including cats that may have been sleeping on my bed.
Just let it roll out. It's almost over. Again, if you like our music, the intro and the outro, you can find it on SoundCloud. This particular song is called Last One Left. Our opening song is called Road to Better Days.
Imagine what lies ahead. And I stare without fear. I am the last one left. And I stare without fear. I am the last one left. Send it out.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Have a good one.
Bye.